south of from the go through. Will go through Bouaké, and Bouaké is 350 kilometer distance to the borders. So the city of Bouaké. So what is interesting in Bouaké it's between the savannah and the forest. So this is very profitable for its economy. So it is a country, a city which is being undergoing many change, and we are oriented that development on different aspects. The first one is through an inclusive governance, which we favor the change, the fight may change by the improvements of the integration of young people and female in all the sectors of the city, and also the beautification of the city. For waste management, for the health management, for solid waste management. This problem is the fact of Agen. Agen work with two operators and Chelu. Those two operators work in Bouaké. They've been working in Bouaké since October 2017. And then for the cleanness of the city, we have the PFSO supporting us by putting at our disposal many hundreds of people who on a daily basis brings the support to clean for the sweeping of the city. So for the waste, we don't have an organization as such, but there are private operators who are in charge of dealing with liquid waste in most parts of the city. And for health centers, hospitals, and health facilities, all those centers have a system, a cleaning system. This is done in the health centers. It's the same thing in the plants. The main plants of Bouaké have that center, that sewage system. So the different actions, we have many actions that have been undertaken, and in the project which have been achieved, we can talk about the community system project for the support to health. So that project was funded by KONAN National with more than 65 million, and the objective was the support of vulnerable households. And the result of the project was the significant improvement of the wastewater management in 4 neighborhoods of Bouaké. And those different areas benefited from support. And the second the benefits for septic tank. And the second project is called Project Patin, which is the promotion of access to toilets and employment through the reuse of is UN NGO Care who have been dealing with it, and the funding is the ADB funding of more than 820 million. And we have had more than 300 septic tank infrastructure in many places of the cities, and we have had a reduction of infection related to wastewater infections like malaria and diarrhea. The third project, which is interesting to be presented, is the F and then delivered service by the NGO PSC. It is a project which has been funded by USAID. This is 11 billion funding, which from 2014 to 2021. This project concerns 3 countries: Benin, Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and the main objective concerning Bouaké was to catalyze the market of Bouaké's municipality for us to have a significant excreta for the achievement of byproducts like compost. The ongoing project which are interesting, Beautification project, which is an analysis on the problem of waste management, solid waste management of Bouaké, which objective is to analyze the solid waste and then see how it can be well used in the city of Bouaké. We also have the health project, which is a large project funded by ADB, and this project's objective is to put in place a waste treatment management in their community. That means the municipalities of Bouaké, Djebenoa, Yamsokro, and Tumodi will be concerned that project. And then so we have the collection, that we do the collection of waste in the municipalities and also treat them. A very important project which is funded by European Union and the mayor of Bouaké, municipality of Bouaké. And this project objective is to reduce and from the beautification, we may say that for many years, Bouaké knows mutation with a very good beautification program. For infrastructure, we have many kilometers of street that has been tarred. So the most interesting program, the one of Telakwaliokoro, which modify a neighborhood Today, crossing Bouaké is now much more easier. So we are building an important market. Will be, we say, the most important of West Africa, with which is going to bring a change, very important change in the center part of the municipality of Bouaké. And we are now we are now completing the building of the Hotel de Ville. So this hotel will bring more to the city. So for the challenges, for the management of health management, we say that no, the most important challenge is as how to respond to the extension of the municipality. So Bouaké has a growth rate which is very significant, because when we can say the city, the municipality is extending every day, and so we about the waste management. So the first questions would be finding the funding to then for the beauty part. It is the same thing for the beautification, sensitization of the population, because it is not easy for the population to respect that, to keep the place or to keep the place clean. So if you just clean the place, then the people will be passing there. So I will say that in conclusion, Bouaké, in his vision of sustainable cities, in a dynamism of good governance, inclusive and local governance in the implementation of the projects. And we also have to look at the scope of the work, because that will mean that all the government and cooperation contribution will be welcome for a global aspect of its development. So I will thank you for your kind attention. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for this very good contribution, which is showing us how the municipality of Bouaké is dynamic, and then the importance of financial and partners to take up the challenges. So now we're going to take advantage of the intervention of the doctor. Okay, can we have the PowerPoint, please? Thank you, Mrs. Moderator. I would like to thank all the organizers of the International Observatory for. Sorry, yeah, he's looking for his word. So the 20th conference which is being hosting here in Cote d'Ivoire. So for us, from the scientific community, I think that what we are proposing for the management of health and beautification of the city is a question of is an approach for a very good management of urban area management. So let us start. So what we want to underline is the interest of health management. We're saying that with the management, which it will help to avoid degradation of the environment. And then so regarding the working method for the management environment, so the analysis will enable us to identify it in the problems. As I was saying, the interest of that health with the management, we will avoid the degradation of the environment, and it will prevent us to use much amounts of money to repair those that will be spoiled. So we have identified the problems. So, the problems need to be identified and then to be dealt with. As problem, we notice that with urban area development, the problems are increasing. And regarding the problem that we have here, we can talk about flood, and, pollution, and then I would say in whole the degradation of the living space. To solve this problem, we want to adopt urban strategy. The urban strategy will help us find the true solution. So, in doing so, I think we should first just highlight some objective related to sustainable development goals. The ODD we have as first specific objective assuring access to very good service. So you have just to relate to ODD 11, you have all the objectives. So the most important thing is to elaborate a strategy, a urban strategy matrix. So to do so for a very good management, we have to first identify the problems resulted in a negative interaction between negative interaction, and this will help us find the objectives and develop the strategies and the tools and actions program. So all this can be done if we respect some of the principles which will commit all the stakeholders for solution finding. For management principles, we have to use all the aptitude. When you want to just arrange a space, you have to to take on board the constraints. So this equity also should be respected. Take some measure, and then it's important to take on board all the aspects. So when we have to take on board all the aspects for this management to be integrated, and we also have the means that are at the disposal of some actors. We can have the support which was related or underlined by the mayor. So I will briefly say that for a very good management, we have to know that for this to be sustainable, it should be laid upon the pillar of sustainable environment. Sustainable environmental aspects. So what are the I forgot. That's what I've forgotten. That's what he's looking for, and the level of life. So, for the environmental place and then the mode of life, and we have to take on count. We have to take into consideration all those dimensions in strategy elaboration, because in a place like the city, we have couple of elements that we call environmental component. Thank you for your kind and attention. Thank you so much. Thank you a lot, Professor, for your intervention, which shows us that at the beginning, the importance of the diagnostic and the participative diagnostics for this to be shared and for us to lean upon the forces of each aspect without leaving behind any of them. So, after those interventions, we saw how much the challenges in terms of health and the beautifications of cities are many, and they needed many actors, and they are independent to financial capacities, far from the one that need to be invented. And those communication will favor reflection on circular economy, knowing what is a problem one place can be a solution in another place. The mobilization of inhabitants, and we saw it in some municipalities. There is asked questions what to do, because in some municipalities it is in a very good manner, and it brings a response to one question: how to make those commitments sustainable and those investments sustainable. And we said that can be an opportunity. So after the 4 communications, I would like now to open the discussions with the public to get some questions or some contributions on the challenges met by your municipalities. Thank you. So we have the microphone. You can just take the microphone and ask the questions. We're going to have a group of 4 questions. First, we have 15 minutes for the questions. 15 minutes for all the questions. Thank you so much. I'm Henri Christel from DRC. My concern is on the intervention of the mayor of Bouaké. First, I would like to congratulate everybody. And I am curious to know something, because if the mayor ended his communication by saying that in Bouaké they have a good vision opening one, so a vision of sustainability. So I think that sustainability cannot be built in such approach with a total dependence of funding. And Mr. Mayor said that many millions was given by donors. So my question is, what is the part of the mayor regarding the budget? So I just want to know if the municipality contributes also, because if the health part is only on basis on international funding, then because some of the time in our countries is a European Union who used to collect the waste in Kinshasa area, and then when the projects end, trashes everywhere because all was centered on the European Union funding. So I would like to know if you have an internal policies to guarantee that that health without taking into account the external funding or international funding. Thank you. It is still DRC. I think I am Jean-Michel Vondo, and the first part of my question has already been said by my colleague, but I would like to know, to all the speakers, what are the roles that you are giving to the population, because it is important, and one of the most important points for me is the commitment of the population. I'm not talking about strategies, but I would like to understand, concretely speaking, what are the strategy put in place, whether it be in Bouaké, Dakar, that you have put in place to commit the population in that approach. So, yeah, Madam first. So, it can be seen that in Congo we have a serious problem of waste management, because the first questions comes from Congo, and my concern still remains. I am thinking as concern the questions of my predecessors, and I will add to that at which level, what extent, in which extent the participation of the population, the funding of the participation of the population is, and how do you do that in Tabacounda? How do you do it for the population taxes to be seen? Where the taxes of the population are being used? Yes, I want the speakers to answer the questions briefly, 2 minutes in total, so that we can get many other questions. So, Mr. Mayor of Bouaké, the risk of funding depending, does it work? Yes. So, I would like not to answer. I would like to answer directly to the question. Right now, the problem of funding, the autonomous funding of Bouaké, we don't have the capacity, the ability to face. We don't have the means to face that problem with the means that we have. The means we have are not enough, are not adequate. So even if we just take a specific taxes, I'm not sure that we can go about that. So we have a problem. The major problem is the problem of funding. So the major problem we have is funding. So for the population, I agree with you. The population should commit itself in health management, and this goes through sensitizations that we are doing through a program called Bouaké Sustainable City, where we are population oriented, and for them, we want to get them to have very good behavior regarding this problem. So, for the funding of the population, from the population, funding from the population. So the population, we intervene for waste collection, and they just intervene upstream. So there is a pre-collection of the trashes from the household to the place there where the wastes are put. So we have young people who are in charge of do the pre-collections of waste, and those services are assured by the household. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The mayor of Tabacounda. You still don't have the mic. You need to have it. Thank you so much for the interest to our communication, and we find it a very important question related to the population participation, because this can guarantee the handling of the waste in our areas. So in terms, we have Sulvat, which is a bureau comprising the secretariat, which define with the population the policies and the strategies. I also talk about developing the council of the neighborhood, which is an improvement of the living space. So that called CGQ, we have inside the youth association and female association or civil societies association are comprised, are committed. So the bureau, which is elected in a democratic manner. So we have all the imam, we have all the priests, the national elected people are included. So for the participation of the population aspects, we define it in an autonomous manner, because it depends. The area, they don't have the same level of living, so you can find participation like from 500 CFA to 1,500 CFA per month and per household, and all this is managed by that council in charge of the development of the neighborhood. So they go from household and then take their commitment of each families, and this aims at renewing the system. So now, how is that group work? And in financially speaking, the commune of Kamankuruma, in partnership with Sanakruma, they work for the centralized communication, but for the dustbins in each household. Those the rubbish can as sold around 2,000 safer, and this favor the work of that Sojoku, that group in charge of the management of the neighborhood. So each month you give 100 or 1,500 safer, and this will be collected by CGQ. This will help them to do their missions, and then they use that money for the beautification, to help the beautification of the city. And sometimes we even take in charge the scholar fees of many children of that neighborhood. So that's in terms of sustainability, we are convinced that at the end of the day, the population should be the one in charge of ruling and managing all the things. So what our hope is to have fund, to have adequate fund, and then the mayor office gave a grant to that CGQ to work, and then it is around 500, but what we collect is between 1,000 and 1,500. So each neighborhood has a pre-collection system. It's a chariot we have. For sure, we aim regarding the animal protection. We want to move from chariot to tricycle. We are experiencing in some neighborhood the use of tricycle, which will help for the pre-collections in the city, in the area. So this is the questions that the reason why we have been calling. The participation is important. There is what we call taxes on household waste, and we notice that the households give it monthly. It's 500 per month. In a year, it's around 6,000 per year. So we said whether you pay or you don't pay, we don't insist on that. But people, they don't realize that by giving in, and they are paying it, and they would have done it as a taxation. We said that we should not insist a lot, because this tax will help in managing the household waste. So if this can help and create many jobs and favor empowerment of young people and the female one, that's also good. But it's happened to us in some areas to have places when we produce compost, and it can serve as a sanitizer, and in Senegal also is an area where the president think that we should think of the culture, the production of plantains, and then we think that with the final place of where we just put the waste that have been collected. So this is what I can say regarding this question. I think I will be frustrating the participants. Sorry, because we don't have enough time. We have had contribution, very passionate one, and some responses, some answers for the participation of the citizens for this project, not to be done for the citizens only, but it should be built and constructed with the citizens, and that project should also promote citizens. So for question related to waste, I know that in each panel, though, they will be elaborating on that. So I'm so sorry for the frustration that I'm going to cause by stopping this workshop. So those CGQ, this is the council in charge of development the neighbor. I talk about that, but we have many commission on the youth, commission on female, but it is a sort of local governance where the population take on charge themselves their areas. But we have the commission environment, which also work well. So the last intervention, Mr. Mayor, allow me to have a bridge, because Mr. Mayor just gave a communication in a neighborhood approach, and the other gave a global approach, so of intercommunity. So they could not go about with the question related to participation, which I know when we are in the concrete aspect, questions are also seen. So thank you a lot for your input. So now we are we do apologize. Now we're going to give the place to the next panel. Thank you.